Hey, welcome. I call to order our regular scheduled January 2nd, 2024 Board of Commissioners meeting to order. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we're back into the swing of things now, so welcome everybody tonight. It's good to see you here. I've asked Mayor Pro Tem Gardner to lead us in our invocation tonight, and Police Chief Medina to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance tonight. Please stand.
Let us bow together. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day and for this time for us together as we start a new year in our lives in this mid-year in our town. We have many exciting prospects ahead of us, and we thank you for all the guidance you have given us and the blessings in the past. We ask that you give us your direction this evening, that we may make decisions that are best for this town and its citizens and are good in your sight. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time, I ask that Town Manager Mitchell review the meeting protocol for public participation as it relates to this meeting tonight's evening. Adam, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, board members. It's good to be with you in 2024. Here we are starting the new year off right with a board meeting. Tonight's town board meeting is both in person and live streamed on the town's YouTube channel and Facebook page. Tonight's meeting contains a public comment period and no scheduled public hearings. The public is invited to comment in person. When it is the appropriate time, Mayor Massengill will call on those wishing to address the town board. All attendees that have appeared in person to address the town board during the public comment period should provide your name and address on the green registration sheet by the podium prior to the public comment period beginning. We ask all those wishing to address the town board during the public comment period to begin their comments by clearly stating their name and address for the public record. The public is asked to keep all comments to 3 minutes so that all that wish to speak can be heard in a timely manner. To be respectful of those that may have different views on matters addressed by the town board, we ask that all in attendance respect the decorum of this meeting by refraining from clapping, making loud noises, and generally showing support or displeasure for comments made during the public comment period. Police Chief Medina will be asked to escort from the boardroom anyone not respecting the process, and it is the discretion of the mayor as presiding officer of the meeting to continue the public comment period if the meeting protocol is not followed. This concludes tonight's protocol. Mayor?
Thank you, Adam. First item of business tonight is the approval of the minutes from the December 19th, 2023 Town Board of Commissioners regular scheduled meeting. Any changes or additions to the minutes?
I had one addition to the minutes, Mr. Mayor, and
Go
it
ahead.
comes under board member comments, and it comes under the comments of Commissioner Haynes, where he acknowledged attending Miss Gertrude Harrison's 100th birthday celebration. I also attended that celebration and just want the minutes to include that.
Okay. All right, so noted. Right there. Any further changes or additions to the minutes? Okay, if not, we'll entertain a motion with Commissioner Harris's amendment.
So moved.
Second?
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda tonight is a presentation. Advanced Law Enforcement Certification, Officer Brian Willis-Croft. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Police Chief Medina. Chief, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
The reason for this presentation is recognition of the Advanced Law Enforcement Certificate Achievement. Officer Brian Willis-Croft is being recognized for recently earning the North Carolina Justice Education and Training Standards Commission Advanced Law Enforcement Certificate. To qualify for the Advanced Law Enforcement Certificate, the recipient must have obtained various levels of job-related training and/or combination of secondary school degrees. Officer Willis-Croft started his law enforcement career with the Wake Med Police Department in April of 2016. He worked as an officer for a year before becoming an officer in charge, supervising a squad, and working as a field training officer. In February 2022, Officer Willis Croft left the Wake Med Police Department and continued his law enforcement career with the Fuquay-Varina Police Department. Since joining our agency, Officer Willis Croft has served as a patrol officer on David's squad, where he continues to serve today and trains new officers as a field training officer. For the past 2 years, he has successfully organized an annual mental health awareness event, which brings together several area resources for all Fuquay-Varina community members to benefit from. Officer Willis Croft has earned his Bachelor of Science in both criminal justice and psychology from Rutgers University. He has a enforcement certificate from the North Carolina Criminal Justice Education and Training Standards Commission in May of 2018 before earning his advanced law enforcement certificate. Congratulations to Officer Brian Willis Croft on earning the North Carolina Criminal Justice Education, Training, and Standards Commission Advanced Law Enforcement Certificate.
Officer Willis Croft, thank you, first of all, for being here in Fuquay-Varina. You were one of the first officers I got to swear in when you came to work here, and so very much appreciate you being here and furthering your education and bringing back mental awareness. I know a lot of calls that y'all run, and a lot of times you run into people that may be in a mental crisis going on right there, and so furthering that training and be able to train and work with our officers makes a difference for our citizens right here. And our citizens support our Fuquay-Varina Police Department, and we are very appreciative for what you're doing and continuing to educate yourself. And Chief, thank you for allowing your department the opportunity, and Officer Willis Croft the opportunity, and continue to support education within your department too. And so congratulations and thank you. We'd all love love for you to come here and let's shake your hand too, please.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Your support within your department is shown here tonight too, as several of your colleagues are here supporting you also. So thank y'all, men and women of Fuquay-Varina Police Department, for coming here tonight to support your coworker at the same time. Thank you, guys. Next item on our agenda is the public comment period. At this time, the town clerk will call on individuals that are in attendance and have registered to address the town board prior to the meeting. Public comment period is a time for the public to address the town board about any matter that is not the subject of a scheduled public hearing. Those speaking are asked to begin by clearly saying your name and address for the public record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes in order that all who wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. Teresa, do you have anybody signed up?
Elizabeth Parent.
Elizabeth?
Hello, it's been a minute. Happy New Year. I'm Elizabeth Parent, live at 904 Old Wick Drive, Fuquay-Varina, and I wanted to welcome you all to this board. And as with the new year comes a board member retreat, I believe, in the next coming months, and I'd like to advocate for a few items to be added to your agenda for that meeting. With just a little bit of history in the past 2 years, I have overseen a number of volunteers knocking on doors in southern Wake County. There were about 12,000 doors that we were able to knock on, and 6,000 of those in Fuquay-Varina municipal limits, 3,000 in ETJ. Fuquay-Varina, 5,000 of those doors have answered, and about 2,500 we were able to get additional information from over the past year and a half. When we were able to get information from them, one of the questions that we asked was, what are the most important issues to you in the community? And the top 4 issues were education, housing, commute, and transparency. And in further conversations through the additional comments that were received from these voters, we were able to identify a number of strategies that could be utilized to combat each of those issues. Now, I know municipal, so oh my gosh, how can they even affect education? They can. There's a thing called a teacher-friendly city. It's kind of like Tree City USA. We're all kind of familiar with that now that we're kind of adopting that program. You can become a teacher-friendly city to attract and retain quality teachers by starting a teacher home buying program that provides teachers with up to $40,000 in no interest loans to help them purchase their first home. Another one of the strategies to combat the housing issue is to conduct a housing affordability study and to affect the commute. You can prioritize certain projects. One of the questions that came up in receiving the comments was some of the projects that have been prioritized over certain projects. What went into that decision-making process? And I think a couple folks had mentioned the overpass over Bridge Street that is in between Southern Street and between Southern Street and Washington Street, why that overpass project has not been prioritized over a number of other projects that have been slated for this year. Another item to affect the transparency aspect is something that Commissioner Harris actually mentioned at your first board meeting was, or one of the first board meetings perhaps, was transparency in regards to allowing other folks on this board to attend some meetings with other stakeholders or organizations that help shape this town, whether that's school board or Home Builders Association. Thank you. I have absolutely taken up all my time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yep.
Thank you.
Teresa, do you have anybody signed up?
No,
Anybody else signed up?
That's all.
Okay. All right, our public comment period is now closed. There are no items tabled from previous meetings for tonight's evening. And there are no public hearings for tonight's evening. There are no consent agenda items either for tonight. First administrative report is item 10A, resolution, pre-qualification policy. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Finance Director Crabtree. Joanne, good evening and welcome, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and hello, Mayor and Commissioners. We're here tonight to put a pre-qualification policy in front of you and a resolution to that effect. We are different than public contracting, of course. So we are looking at some of our procedures, some of our policies. We're subject to general statutes and for public contracts. And so because of this, we do have an opportunity to pre-qualify. We're trying to make the process a little simpler. And so statutes allow us to pre-qualify bidders by project to, instead of getting the bids and then trying to qualify the bidders, we try to do that up front versus later in the process. So by shifting that forward, that would help that process. And so that's one of the reasons that we are putting this policy before you. It's not going to be for every single contract. It'll be for the single prime, separate prime, dual bidding methods, and for the CMR projects, they will have to do that for their subcontractors. But you know, we have the responsibility of not only getting low bid, we also have responsible and responsive bidders. And so that is why we want to make sure the people that are working on our public buildings and doing any kind of construction and repair, that they meet all the qualifications in order to make sure that we have safe and actually that the vendors can actually finish the projects as well. Because there has been times that's on some public projects that the contractors are not able to finish. And we definitely do not want that to happen here in Fuquay-Varina. So this was going to give us a guide an evaluation tool that we can make sure that everybody that bids, that we will have responsible and responsive bidders along with picking the lowest cost. I don't know if anybody has any questions in regards to,
Joanne, I'm sure this policy is in line with state statutes and requirements of bidding right there.
yes,
And I think you hit the nail on the head. It's not uncommon in not just government, but private sector, a variety of projects to have a pre-qualification process for bidders. Simply the lowest, cheapest price sometimes can come at the blister and change orders and things they weren't aware of. And so this gives you a chance, and along with other staff, for the project to have a little more time to verify that somebody's fully qualified on that
Right.
by pre-qualification process right here. I think this makes a lot of good sense and allows us to look after taxpayers' dollars the absolute best way is what you're bringing here. And as finance director, it's your job to really look after the dollars and cents right there.
yeah. And because our projects are becoming
Big.
larger and larger.
Much larger projects, yeah.
Right.
That's right. Much more, I don't say opportunity, not in a positive way, but chances that something, bigger projects have more items involved right there.
Right.
You want to really make sure somebody's qualified for what they're doing. Yes.
Exactly. Risk is bigger.
Risk mitigation.
Yep.
Any other board members have any comments or questions for Joanne?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I have a couple.
Commissioner Harris, go ahead.
In reading the information, one of the things that stuck out with me was a reference to the hub office, the historically underutilized businesses, but I wasn't clear as to how that's going to impact or relate to the implementation of this policy in regards to historically underutilized businesses. I know that part of what the office does for contractors is they have a list of contractors that are eligible, and these are contractors who have historically been underutilized and not really been able to compete with other contractors. Does this policy relate to that, or is there a relationship between what we do here in the town and the hub office, which is a state office that focuses on equity when it comes to bidding and contracts?
Right. It is not going to exclude. I think it's going to be more inclusive in the fact that it's mandated that we advertise with the state and make sure that we have advertised and be inclusive by filing on that hub website. Instead of just maybe putting it on our website, we are mandated to also put it on that state website to make sure that they are able to look at, because each project will have different qualifications.
Yes.
Depending on the size of the project and, you know, what is involved
Yes.
with that to do. So it will be more inclusive for the simple fact, right off to begin with, when we solicit advertisements, we're going to be doing that on those hub websites to make sure they are included. So I think that is an extra step to make sure that they are included.
That's what I wanted to know. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Mhm,
Appreciate that.
you're welcome.
And to clarify on that, the statutes require that you make a good faith effort to engage historically underutilized businesses, and this policy specifies specifically how the town of Fuquay-Varina is going to do that.
Okay, so if someone asks me, I can direct them to the hub website to make sure that they're aware of any contractual opportunities here in Fuquay-Varina.
Right.
That's great.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions? The recommendation is to approve, I went way too far, I think. To approve the resolution and pre-qualification policy as presented and recommended.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you, Joanne.
Our second administrative report this evening is contract award for T.A. Loving Company, Southern Oaks Gravity Sewer Project, Phase 2, and Project Ordinance Amendment PO8-24-13. More information about this item will be presented by Public Utilities Director Wagner. Mike, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm here to present the consideration of Project Order Amendment 2413 and contract amendment for TA11 Company for the Gravity Sewer Project of Southern Oaks for the Phase 2 construction portion of it. If you recall, back in June, we moved forward with the 2.9 million design portion of the project, and we've now received the guaranteed max price for the project, and therefore we need to amend the design build contract for the construction of the Southern Oaks Gravity Sewer Project in the amount of $27,010,115. So there is a fiscal note associated with this project, and that is to recognize the sale of the revenue bond proceeds in the amount of $27,800,523 to fund the town's cost of construction and administrative costs for the project. The actual contract for construction costs is the $27,010,115. And I can answer any questions that you may have in regards to the project ordinance amendment or the construction project.
Mike, I know previously we have approved different stages of this project, and when we have a guaranteed maximum cost, that also, variety of different contractors were interviewed for that process and evaluated is what I was trying to use, evaluated for that right there. Then, when you have a guaranteed max, it's basically an open book policy from a cost standpoint, and as costs go through, if costs go up, yes, we have to share some costs, but at the same time, if cost goes down, we as taxpayers get the benefit from that at the end of the day with a guarantee never to cross that number that you just showed. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. There's a contingency amount in there of a little over $1 million, and then any cost savings that are recognized throughout the project is recommended as a 50-50 cost share.
Just like if it goes up, is a cap on going up too at the same time.
Yes, sir.
So that's benefit there. Okay. Any further questions or comments for staff? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Massingill, I move that we approve Project Ordinance Amendment POA-24-13 and Contract Award Amendment for TA11 Company for construction of the Southern Oaks Gravity Sewer Project Phase 2 as presented and recommended, subject to town attorney review and local government commissioner approval as to form.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mike. Item 10C, Project Ordinance Amendment POA-24-14 Harnett County Wastewater Treatment Plant Expansion Project. More information about agenda item will be presented by Public Utilities Director. Mike, still your turn.
Yes, sir. So this one is for the Project Ordinance Amendment 2414, which is recognizing the revenue bonds for the Harnett County Wastewater Treatment Plant expansion. On November 6, 2023, we approved the second amendment agreement for the additional 3.4 million gallons per day in the Harnett County Regional Wastewater Treatment Plant. So the town's current capacity after construction of the plant is $6 million or 6 million gallons per day in the Cape Fear River Basin that we'll have for treatment. And the Southern Oaks project that we're moving forward with is going to convey a lot of that future flow. There is a fiscal note associated with this project, and it's to recognize and increase the revenue bond proceeds of $40,605,000 and the revenue bonds premium of $3,915,182 for a total of $44,520,000, $520 and $182 in recognizing those bond proceeds. The motion is to approve the project ordinance amendment 24-14 as presented and recommended, subject to town attorney review as to form and the local government commission's approval as to form. Answer any questions you may have.
Any further comments or questions from board members? If not, entertain a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mike. Next item, 11A, other business, manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Not a tremendous amount has transpired since we last met on December 22nd. We've had a couple holidays in between, and the town offices have been closed for a few days, but I'll just mention a few things briefly. Of course, tonight, the town board just approved some project ordinance amendments and the clearance of bonds for some very large capital projects for the town. And of course, you're very familiar with these projects, but they are part of a larger menu of infrastructure projects that we are going to be tackling over the next year to 2 years. And so you'll be seeing more of these come along at future meetings as well, whether it's water and wastewater related or transportation related. We're going to be advancing those forward. Just as it relates to a few of our departments, I want to just provide a quick update on Community Center North. Construction continues to progress with all underground utilities now having been installed, and 2/3 of the concrete slabs have been poured. The remaining slab is planned to be poured by the end of this week, with structural steel being delivered to the site by mid-January, and vertical construction should begin by the end of this month, weather permitting. So we're going to start to see our fantastic community center start to sprout out of the ground. Spring youth sports registration for town residents will begin on January 8th. Youth sports capacity is limited, and residents should register during the town registration period to minimize their chance of being turned away due to lack of space. We are expecting that some residents and non-residents, especially those that register after the town resident priority registration period, will be turned away, as did occur during the winter sports registration period. So if you know anyone in the community that lives in the town limits that would like to participate in youth sports this spring, encourage them to go ahead starting on January 8th to get registered sooner than later. As it pertains to our Public Works Department, we're going to begin removing the Christmas lights from our poles this week, and it'll take approximately 2 weeks for those to be removed from all the poles around town. We got a lot of Christmas lights around town, so it'll take about 2 weeks for the full job to be done, but our Public Works Department will be working on it. Fire Department, we had 3 new recruits start today for their 2-week orientation before being assigned to a shift, and they will be formally introduced to the board at our January 16th board meeting, where they'll have their badges pinned. They are Sawyer Gaskin, Jackson Lee, and James Smith. The Fire Department ended 2023 with 5,754 emergency calls. That was 7 more than last year, which makes 2023 the busiest year in our fire department's history in terms of call volume. And then as it pertains to our new engines, engineering review has been completed, and we're waiting for our spot in the production line for those 4 new fire engines. The tentative date for completion right now is late August of 2024. Our police department is going to host Barton College Senior Hunter Sauls for a non-pay 480-hour internship, which will begin on January 10th. This internship will allow Hunter to see the applications of methods that he learned in school and explore criminal justice as a career field even further. And so we're excited about having him come on board and work with our police department for a period of time. We've also hired 1 police applicant to attend BLET and sponsoring 1 applicant to attend BLET as well, starting in mid-January. And we'll be moving forward with at least 2 applicants that are currently BLET certified and employed at other agencies. And we've had almost 50 applicants for the vacant code compliance officer position that we are excited about finding a good candidate for with the vacancy that we have in that area. And as it pertains to public utilities, we're working to go out to bid on several water line projects by the end of January, including the water line replacement project on Ransdell Road before construction of the sidewalk project, the downtown sidewalk project. So gearing up here in 2024 for a lot of capital projects, capital improvements. We said it was going to be the year of the orange cone, and I think you're going to see that to be the truth and the fact here in the coming months. Happy to answer any questions that the board might have. You do have a project status report included in your agenda materials through the month of December. We do have a coffee with a cop at First National Bank on Wednesday, January 10th at 9 a.m. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration sponsored and hosted by the Cultural Arts Society of Fuquay-Varina, will be on January 15th at 9:30 a.m. Our police department will be hosting an event, Friends with Wisdom. This will be at Windsor Point Retirement Community, and this will be on January 17th at 9 a.m. from 9 to 10. The Art Center will have the production Eduardo's Noche Flamenco 2024. This will be on January 27th at 7:30 p.m. On the Border, the Ultimate Eagles Tribute Band, fantastic group, will be performing on Saturday, February 3rd at 7:30 p.m. And that concludes my comments, Mr. Mayor. Happy to answer any questions that you or the board might have.
Any questions or comments from management? Questions or comments time? Thank you, Adam, for the report. I know it's been a been a holiday season since our last meeting between Christmas time and New Year's now. It's now New Year's came. We're ready to get things back rolling again at the same time.
Yes, sir.
So thank you. Commissioner Harris, any comments?
No comments, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Commissioner Adcock, any comments?
As the town manager mentioned, there is a coffee with a cop next Wednesday at First National Bank. And these things are so popular. I think we've been on the schedule for 6 months anyway, it seems like a long time. We had to kind of get on the calendar, so I'm happy that it's as well received in the community as it is. You know, today the state asked everybody to put their flags at half-mast for Sergeant Nix, who was killed, and I think that's just a reminder of, you know, these the dangers in the job, and I for one appreciate what a great police force we have here in Fuquay-Varina. We had, I know last meeting we had a officer that we were honoring, and this meeting we did as well. So I think you're doing a good job promoting education and training, and I appreciate that.
Charlotte, thank you for those words. I agree with you there. First National Bank is the bank that is your bank, correct?
Yes, sir.
I know our officers at Coffee with a Cop haven't had steak for breakfast before, but we'd probably love to have some steak with their coffee that day too. Just put a bug in your ear right there. Thank you for your great words, though.
With every loan application submitted, there will be a free steak dinner.
All right. Commissioner Wunsch, any comments?
I just wanted to echo what Commissioner Adcock said about our police department, and also add that I think it was in this period of time since our last meeting that our Fuquay-Varina Police Department was recognized because we have the safest town in North Carolina. And that was very exciting to have that accolade. Only one town can be #1, and what an honor it was to be #1, and that's as a result of what Commissioner Adcock has shared and everything else that's made our town such a safe place to live, work, and play. And so congratulations to Chief Medina and the entire department, and to our town, and everybody that's involved in keeping us safe. And then finally, I wanted to wish our mayor an upcoming happy birthday on Thursday. And because we won't see him again until after it's passed, so I want to say happy birthday, Mayor, and it's a big one. And
Don't buy. Thank you. Thank you, though. You can leave that out of minutes, Teresa.
those are my comments.
Thank you. Commissioner Haynes, any final comments?
Just to Mr. Mayor, just definitely want to thank all who put together the employee Christmas celebration. That was a great event. So thank each and every one of y'all, and just, you know, we're just amazing to see how, you know, one, great for our employees and excited they are to work for the town of Fuquay-Varina. It's just amazing to see the smiles on their faces, sitting around talking with them, find out what they were doing for Christmas and New Year's and everything like that. So I definitely enjoyed that. Also, I just want to thank, it's a long list of businesses, community, police department, and so many people who helped in our Christmas food giveaway. I think by the time I got to Christmas Day, which I was still giving out food, We had hit over 200 families in the town of Fuquay-Varina. And definitely thank you to our police department for definitely keeping us safe. They had other things going on, but they still made sure they kept us safe and kept the lines moving. So that was a great event, and so many other people who helped donate and participate. We had close to 75 volunteers, so it was just an amazing day. So, and just lastly, I'm just excited about this year, and Happy New Year to everybody.
Thank you, Commissioner Haynes. Mayor Pro Tem Gardner, any comments?
No, Mayor, just to say a very happy New Year. I wish a very happy New Year to all in our town. We've got a lot of exciting things coming up.
That's right. That's right, exactly right. Happy New Year. A couple things I want to mention tonight. First item I'm going to mention on my notes is bridge project, Bridge Road, NCDOT bridge has been mentioned in the past that needs to be replaced. Right-of-way is actually on the schedule for 2025 on replacement of that, construction starting in 2026, and that is a project that's been on the schedule for quite some time with NCDOT. Town has not built bridges in the past, and don't believe that's going to be a direction that the board decides to do from an affordability standpoint, but that is a project that has been on the books for quite some time. Item number 2 I want to mention tonight is Denise Oakley with our finance department and utility billing. I had a customer contact me about a billing issue in regards to their utility water bill, and she did an excellent job of communicating with that citizen in regards to what's going on with the bill and clear on how the bill was put together. And so they really appreciate that. I want you to let her know, please, Joanna, she did an excellent job with that in regards to handling that and the great customer service, because often you have people that do call in and curious about their bills and whether it's on their side or the town side or whose side. Anyway, often just questions in regards to that. And she did a great job, and they sung her praise today. So thank you very much with your department in regards to that. Jason, you did mention Fuquay-Varina was named in December as the #1 safest town in North Carolina. And I believe previously it was 4th, and previously behind that was 7th, if I recall right there. And so the point of that is saying is that we stay on a top list. And so not only are we part of a top list, but we are the top one this year right here. And so that is something to be very, very proud of right here. And so our town's staying safe. And thank y'all very much for keeping our town safe here. Happy New Year. I don't have any other further comments tonight to make this evening. Manager, do we have a closed session?
No closed session recommended for this evening.
Okay. If not, that being the case, we'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Happy New Year.